Suprabhatam. Kept in its own place, everything has a certain importance. Kept in its own place, everything has a certain importance. But because something is important, if you keep it on your head, it may lose its importance and usefulness. For example, in your room or in your house, there are many gadgets, there are many electronic items, there are many furnitures, all kinds of things. If you don't have laptop with you, you can spend your days comfortably still, you can still live. If you don't have furniture in your house, you can still comfortably live. But if you don't have dustbin in your house, you cannot comfortably live. Dustbin is more important than your laptop, if you look at it that way. But dustbin has to be kept in its place. Because it is important, will you keep it on your head? Dustbin is very important. It should be there. You cannot spend your day comfortably without it. If 10 minutes goes by without a dustbin, you have to throw a paper, you won't know where to throw. Dustbin is a necessity in your room or in your house. It is that important. But just because dustbin is important, we won't sleep with it. We won't keep it on our head. We will not roam around with it. It has to be kept in its place. It has to be kept in its place only because of that it is important. Because it is important, we don't give a special place to something. Because it is in its place, it becomes important. It becomes useful. Very similarly, when we speak of the mind, mind has to be given a certain importance, agreed. But if you glorify it too much, if mind is given more importance, if it is removed from its place and if it is given more importance, then whatever is happening to mankind at a very big, large scale will happen. There is a very fundamental difference between what Patanjali Yoga Sutra does and what modern psychology does. Everybody is considering nowadays Patanjali Yoga Sutra as one of the texts which analyzes the mind. Yes, it does analyze the mind, but for what purpose? To glorify the mind? No. It is not Chitta Sutra, it is Yoga Sutra. Chitta is analyzed there so that you can get rid of it. The analysis of the mind is done there not to glorify it, but to transcend it. But in psychology, when we analyze the mind, we do it with the attitude that it is to be there forever, we are stuck with it, I am my mind, and with that attitude you analyze the mind to do some basic manipulation in it and manage the world somehow. See, for example, in psychology, what they do is, just as in physics you come up with laws, in physics we come up with laws, how the gravity functions, how thermodynamics functions, all these laws we come up with so that we can be in tune with that laws and then we can do something with it. If you are in tune with gravity, you can fly. You know, it's an irony. To fly, you should be in tune with gravity. Only if you learn gravity fully, you can fly. Otherwise, you cannot. So in physics, we learn how the physical world is functioning, what are the laws that the physical world is obeying. Unfortunately, what they are trying to do in psychology is the very same thing. They are trying to assume that mind follows certain laws and we have to follow them. This is an absolutely absurd way of approaching psychology. This is just an extension of physics. Even in physics, that is not true anyway, that's a different thing. But with psychology, when modern psychology analyzes the mind, their basic assumption is that human mind follows certain rules, certain principles. So you have to study those laws so that we can be in tune with those laws and manipulate them and then live better. This is how modern psychology does. For example, I'll give an example to what I just said. It speaks of a law called habituation. For example, if for the first time in your life, suppose you looked at the sky. For the first time in your life, you looked at the sky. You did not look at the sky in your whole life. You looked at it. It is huge. It is beyond anything that you imagined until then. It is vast blue, unimaginable. And therefore, it hits you very deeply when you look at it for the first time. When you go on looking at it every day, psychology says, modern psychology says, you will undergo a process called habituation. It will no more excite you, it will no more give you any alarm. When you look at the sky after a few times, okay, sky, so what? You get habituated to it. They say this is how the mind functions. And they say this is how it is supposed to be. And there is something good with that. Because if, for example, on the road, suppose you came from a village where you never heard the honking of a vehicle, you came to a city, you heard the honking of a vehicle, you freaked out. You didn't know what it was. First time you heard honking. But then when you hear it repeatedly a few times, the mind will get habituated and you will then no more get afraid, you will no more freak out when you hear it again and again. So because of that it is good, habituation is good. You don't have to get afraid every time you hear a new sound. So habituation is good. But then, if you make it as a law, that is how the mind has to function, then it means you no more have the freedom to go back. With the example of the sky, habituation will happen after a few days. You will look at the sky, you will no more see any beauty there. Now you have lost the ability, you have lost the freedom to enjoy the sky. This losing of the freedom, we in Eastern cultures, we never liked it. But modern psychology, it analyzes all. This is one example which I gave. It says habituation. Habituation is the principle of the mind. That's how mind functions. Like that, there are many conditioning. That conditioning, certain types of conditioning. So it says there are certain principles and the mind will obey those laws. That is how it is supposed to be. But what they don't realize is, if it is so, then we lose all freedom to go back. Once you get habituated to something, if you got habituated, or it has already happened to us actually. We have gotten habituated to the sky. Now, even if you wanted, you cannot enjoy the sky. This is not a good situation to be in. So although there are certain principles which the mind is obeying presently, what the ancient texts say is, you can transcend all of it. You are not supposed to obey these laws your life for your entire life and then get stuck with the mind. You can proceed and you can transcend it. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, when they analyze the mind, they are not analyzing the mind so that your family life will be better, so that your career will be better, so that you will handle the world better. That is not the purpose. It may come about as a byproduct, yes. It may come about as a byproduct. You may get to know certain things about how to live better. But that is not the purpose of Patanjali Yoga Sutra at all. The purpose of analyzing the mind in Patanjali Yoga Sutra is how can you transcend the mind? How can you see something more magnificent? Because as the sutra says, as one of the sutras which we chanted says, Jnanasya ananthyat jnanyam alpam. Whatever is known now, whatever we consider as the known, jnayam, whatever we consider as known, our mental realm, it becomes tiny in front of what you actually are. Because we are giving too much importance to the dustbin, we are not seeing things which are more important. We are not able to go beyond the dustbin. Once, somebody asked Ramana Maharshi from Tiruvannamalai, when he was in Mauna, one of the seekers came to him and they asked him, is it not necessary to analyze the principles of creation, the tattvas of creation? He said, his Ramana Maharshi's answer was, when you have to sweep the floor, when you have to sweep away all the dirt, will you sit and analyze the dirt? Your purpose is anyway to sweep off the floor. Your purpose is anyway to sweep away all the dirt. Will you sit and analyze the dirt? That was his answer. We don't analyze the dirt. Our purpose is to sweep it away. There is something much more magnificent than that. So, the analysis, I'm not saying analysis should not be done at all of the mind. Analysis should be done. A minimum analysis of the dirt should be done to know how to sweep it off well. That's all. Because there will be many types of dirt. Some dirt you have to use a particular type of broomstick, or sometimes you have to wipe it off with a mop or something. So for that minimum knowledge, you have to analyze the dirt. Okay, how to sweep it off. After that, if you go on sit and go on analyzing the mind forever and develop a philosophy of the mind, that is not spirituality. Spirituality is to transcend the mind, not sit and analyze the mind forever. If you sit and analyze the mind, it is capable of showing you things till eternity. You can analyze the mind till eternity. Creation is also eternity. Just like the source of creation is infinite, creation itself is infinite. If you sit and analyze the mind, it is infinite. Therefore, when we use the intellect, the process of Jnana Yoga is just this: how to use the intellect without losing track, without losing way, without getting distracted and getting lost in this analysis. If you see many of the analysis that people do in the modern times, there is intellect. There is no doubt that people have intellect. Everybody has intellect. But when they start analyzing the mind, it starts becoming a big hodgepodge, big khichdi. But then they don't want to accept it. The ego will come in the way. My analysis has to be right. It will go into a big chaos. The analysis of the mind which they undergo will not liberate them, but entangle them further. The analysis will become so entangled, but they don't want to give it up, because once you start analyzing, you start developing an attachment to your own analysis. Your analysis of the mind, your analysis of the life, whatever. So the process of yoga is analyze the mind only as much as required to transcend it. You should not go on analyzing all unnecessary things in the mind. That is not the purpose of spirituality. Once, Gautama the Buddha, he went up the mountain for his meditation, and when he returned with a handful of leaves in his hand. He returned with a handful of leaves, dry leaves. And he came back and he showed that to his monks, and he asked the monks, which leaves are more in number, the one in my hand or the one in the mountain? The monks obviously said the one in the mountain are more in number. Leaves are much more there. In your hand only a few leaves are there. And Buddha said, just like that, I know many things, but I tell you only that which you need to liberate yourself. I know many more things, but I won't tell you those things, which are because they are not necessary for you to liberate yourself. Like what he meant was, when you analyze the creation, there will be so many things about the universe, about so many questions will come. Whether the universe is finite or infinite, whether the mind is like this or like that, you will get so many questions about the pattern of the mind, about this and that. But many of those questions will be unnecessary. Many of those questions will be unnecessary for you to spiritually evolve. But it is difficult to convince the person when he comes up with a question. It is very difficult to convince the person that your question is unnecessary, because people will develop attachment to their own question. So suppose you come to me with some question about the mind or about God. See, people always get all these lofty questions. Why did God create all this? If moksha is the final thing, why did God put us in this world? You get such questions. When you get these questions, if I say, analyzing these questions is not important, there is something else that you can do which can dissolve this question, you will not believe me. Because for you that question is so important now, you think that question is your salvation. That question, if you pursue, you will just get a story. Just sit and think about it. If you pursue that question, all you will have is a story, nothing else. You will just have an intellectual theory or a story. That's all you will have. If you analyze such questions, metaphysics, they are called as metaphysical questions. If you sit and analyze them, you will just have a theory, you may write a thesis on it, you may get a PhD degree, but it won't take you any further in your journey. Therefore, don't think that all sorts of questions about the mind, all sorts of questions about the creation are spiritual questions. They are not. Spirituality means channelizing the intellect. You have to use your intellect, agreed. But spirituality means everybody gives importance to asking questions. But the more important thing in Adhyatma is to know what question not to ask. Just because you have the power to question, just because the intellect is functioning, if you simply go on erratically asking questions, you will go mostly in circular arguments. It won't lead you anywhere. Therefore, the purpose of these Yoga Sutras, in Yoga Sutra, Patanjali analyzes the mind. It is actually not an analysis of the mind also. In very few sutras, he analyzes the mind, very minimum analysis. After that, he goes ahead and he says how to get rid of this. That's what he analyzes more. This is not a Chitta Sutra, this is not analysis of Chitta. This is Yoga Sutra, this is how to attain Kaivalya. So, we should not glorify the Chitta too much just because it is an important tool. Just like how I gave the example of dustbin. Dustbin is very, very important. Because dustbin is important, you will not keep it on your head and glorify it or sleep with it. Mind is very, very important, but we have to keep it in its place. It cannot be glorified. To interface with the world, it is a wonderful tool, but it has to be kept in its place. Don't make it the entirety of your life. Mind is not the entirety of our life. There are many more things to our life than mind. Mind is just our own psychological drama. There are much more things to life than the mind. So, the purpose of all these texts is not to glorify the mind. The purpose of all these texts is to analyze the mind only up to that limit, so that you can transcend it, gracefully transcend it. How to channelize our intellect, how to ask the right questions, how to keep our analysis in the right track, so that we can leave it behind. If you walk around this floor, you will not reach anywhere. But if there is a staircase to the first floor, yes, if you walk on the first floor, you will reach the first floor. So the staircase and this floor, walking on both of them is similar. You can walk on this floor or you can walk on the staircase. But if you walk on the staircase, you will leave the staircase behind and you will go up. But if you walk on this floor, you will walk on this floor for eternity. You are walking. Like that, intellectual analysis is fine, but that intellectual analysis which you will go on doing forever and develop theories and stories, but do not proceed eternally, is not Adhyatma, it is just maybe philosophy. So Adhyatma does not mean all types of analysis of the mind. Adhyatma means that particular part of analysis, that particular type of walking, which will help you to leave it behind and see something more magnificent. Let us always remember this, no matter how much we talk about chitta, 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 we have to remember that analysis of chitta is being done so that we can get rid of it. Getting rid of it doesn't mean getting rid of it in the real sense, I won't clarify it now, but it is done so that it is kept in its place and something more magnificent will be seen at its source, at the source of chitta. Thank you. Oh.